morning, sorry, good afternoon. Let's start the daily discussion. The first topic, subcategorization of the scheduled caste. Why it is in news. The Union government has formed a committee to ensure equitable distribution of benefits to scheduled caste across the country. The subcategorization of the scheduled caste comes after the Prime Minister's promise to look into the demand raised by the Mardiga community in Telangana. Okay, this particular community in Telangana, so they have demanded to the Prime Minister to subcategorize among the scheduled caste, because the advanced section among the scheduled caste are taking the benefit of our reservation, and the real deserving section within the scheduled caste are not able to get any benefit. That is why the government has appointed a committee in this matter. Okay, so subcategorization within scheduled caste, it is okay. It is the last in the last 2 decades. It is to identify and help the most backward among the scheduled caste. In the last 2 decades, multiple states like Punjab, Bihar, Tamil Nadu have tried to bring reservation law at the state level to subcategorize the scheduled caste. So they have tried to bring law on this. Okay. So in the last 2 decades, states like Punjab, Bihar and Tamil Nadu have tried to bring in reservation law at the state level in a bid to subcategorize the scheduled caste. So for the subcategorize the scheduled caste, this is being done. This has been done by some states by passing law in their own assemblies. They have tried this. Okay. The Mardiga community, it constitutes at least 50% of the total scheduled caste in Telangana. It has been struggling since 1994 for the subcategorization of the scheduled caste. Scheduled caste form about 15% of the state population as per the 2011 census. E.B. Chinnaya versus State of Andhra Pradesh in 2004, the Supreme Court through its 5-judge bench held that once a community is included in the presidential list of scheduled caste under Article 341 of the Constitution, they became part of a single larger class of people, casting a wide net for the purposes of reservation. It held that the state did not have the legislative power to create subclassification within this single class, and that such an action could violate the right to equality. However, all plans are held off in courts as the Supreme Court forms its larger constitutional bench in the Devinder Singh case. Okay. A larger bench of the Supreme Court was formed in the Devinder Singh case. Fine. Okay. So the issue of subcategorization reservation has been pending before a 7-judge constitution bench for nearly 2 years without hearing. Okay, so this is pending. Okay, so committee for subcategorization, committee of secretaries, it is a 5-member committee comprising the secretary of the Home Ministry, Law Ministry, Tribal Affairs Ministry and the Social Justice Ministry. Okay, So and it is chaired by the cabinet secretary. So this is the subcommittee formed by the government. Fine. So chaired by the cabinet secretary. Mandate to look at strategy like the special initiatives focusing existing schemes towards them. The committee need not to deviate into policy matters like reservation or breakup of the Supreme Court quota for the employment and education, because this reservation is always for it is applicable to both education and employment. Okay, so education and job. So here this applies to both to the for education as well as for employment purposes. Fine. There is no deadline given to present its finding. However, it has been asked to do it at the earliest. Previous commission, Justice P. Ramachandra Raju Commission, 1996, National Commission in 2007, they are appointed to subcategorize. Argument favoring subcategorization within the scheduled caste. Graded inequalities. The principal argument for subcategorization of the scheduled caste has been the graded inequalities among the scheduled caste communities. The thrust of it has been even among the marginalized. There are communities that have lesser access to basic facilities. Unequal representation. Some communities are more backward and have less representation than others. For instance, the Madhya community has claimed that the benefits including that reservation meant for the scheduled caste category has been cornered by the Mala community, with the Madhya being left out. Legal standpoint, a 5-judge bench headed by Justice Arun Mishra has okay. So a 5-judge bench headed by Justice Arun Mishra has affirmed the competence of the states to give preferential treatment to the weakest among the scheduled caste without depriving other caste of any benefit. The caste has noted that the scheduled caste list contains many castes and cannot be treated as a homogeneous group, because so as per the provisions, so they cannot be treated. So okay, there is not a homogeneous group. Okay, equitable distribution of benefits. The Indian government has formed a committee of secretary to evaluate and work out a method for equitable distribution of benefits, schemes and initiatives to the most backward community among over 1200 scheduled castes across the country. So as per the report, there are more than 1200 scheduled caste communities in the country, and this benefit is given to them all, and again subcategorizing them is a very tedious activity as per the provisions. Argument against subcategorization within the scheduled caste. There are primarily based on the legal and practical challenges associated with it. Legal challenges. The Supreme Court held that the state did not have the power to unilaterally subcategorize community in the list of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. The Constitution have provided that this list can only be made by Parliament and notified by the President. So this list can only be made by the Parliament, and only President can notify this as per the provisions of the Constitution. Data of socio-economic status. The population data related to the SC, ST, OBC categories are not updated since 2011 census. It hampered the objective of scientific basis for subcategorization. The data has not been updated, so this affect the subcategorization. Untouchability. The social and educational backwardness cannot be applied to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Tribe community. The special treatment is given to the scheduled caste due to untouchability with which they have suffered since ages. So why this has been given? Because they remain backward, and this backwardness because they remain they are called untouchables and are sidelined. That is why. So that is the reason for giving them reservation to bring them at par with the mainstream. So why the reservation? It is a positive discrimination, and the policy was formulated because to bring those backward section and assimilate them with the national mainstream. That is the reason why this reservation policy was initially granted, and subsequently this is being given extension year after year. Fine. So, and again subcategorization within that. Okay. So may be very bring this to a difficult level. Okay. It hampers the objective and scientific basis for subcategorization. Untouchability, the social educational backwardness cannot be applied to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. The special treatment is given to the SC due to untouchability with which they have suffered since ages. Scheduled caste in India, up to the 2011 census, the total population of ST in India is 15.6%, which was slightly more because by the previous census in 2001, their percentage was 16.2 and with increased by 0.4% to 6.6% of the total population of India. So SC constitutes 16.6% of the total population of India. Fine. Article 341 of the Constitution of India defines scheduled caste with respect to any state or union territory. Constitutional provision, Article 14 guarantee equality before law. Article 15.4, the state is empowered to make any special provision for the advancement of any social and educational backward classes of citizen or for scheduled caste. Article 16.4, 16.4a and 16.4b provides for reservation in post and services. Article 17, untouchability stands abolished and its practice in any form is forbidden. Article 23, it emphasizes the importance of protecting individual freedom and dignity. Article 24, it prohibits the employment of children below the age of 13 in any factory, mines or hazardous occupation. Article 46, promotion of educational and economic interest of the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other weaker sections. Article 330, reservation of seats for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in the House of People, especially the Lok Sabha. Then Article 335 permits law that reduce the requirement of relaxed qualification for members of SC community in appointment to public service and post. That means relaxation in age. That is also permitted because as per the Article 335, it permits law that reduce the requirement or relax qualification for members of community in appointment to public services, because in qualification so that they can get relaxation. Okay. So this is what is the provision of the relaxation in the Article 335. Okay. Other statutory provisions, the RFLR Act 2013 special provision has been made for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes under the section 41 of the 40 of the RFC TLARR Act 2013 with protect their interest. So interest of the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes are protected under the provision of this act. Fine. So scheduled caste and scheduled tribes Prevention of Atrocity Act 1898. The legislation was designed to provide a measure of protection to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes and to encourage their rights. So in the conclusion, we can say the Constitution of India does not prohibit the Parliament to subcategorize. So Constitution has not never prohibited the Parliament to subcategorize. Parliament can do this. Parliament can subcategorize the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribe, but so it should be as per the followed provision. Okay, so the Constitution of India does not prohibit the Parliament to subcategorize SC, but it needs to justify the government that this move could be 100% count of all caste, a caste census of each community and sub-community and their respective socio-economic data. The government should focus on equitable distribution of benefits, schemes and initiatives to the SC population in India as mandated by the Constitution and other statutory provisions. The next is ban on commercial release of the GM crop will be against the national interest. Recently, so again the controversy started for to put a ban on the commercial cultivation of hybrid mustard or BT GM mustard. So the Supreme Court has reserved its judgment on public interest litigation, challenging the government decision to allow the commercial release of the GM mustard variant, Dhara mustard hybrid 11 DMH11. The conventional plant breeding involves crossing species of the same genus to provide the offspring with the desired trait of both the parents. This is the normal process, but in the genetic engineering aims to transcend the genus barrier by introducing an alien gene in the seeds to get the desired effect. So through genetic engineering, an alien gene is introduced, so thereby changing the genetic composition, and change genetic composition may lead to higher productivity, okay, or protect it from the prevailing that pest diseases etc which affect okay. So the alien gene could be from a plant, an animal, or even a soil bacterium. Okay. So conventional plant breeding involves crushing species of the same genus to provide the offspring with the desired trait of both the parents. Genetic engineering aims to transcend the genus barrier. Okay. So genus barrier by introducing an alien gene. By introducing an alien gene in the seeds to get the desired effect. An alien gene could be from a plant, an animal, or even a soil bacterium. BT cotton has alien genes from the soil bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis BT. They allow the crop, okay, allow the crop to develop a protein toxic to the common pest is the pink bollworm. So pink bollworm is a major disease in the cotton crop, and this particular gene, okay, from the soil bacterium, that is able to check it. So it allows the crop to develop a protein toxic to common pest pink bollworm. The BT brinjal, a gene allows the plant to resist attack of the fruit and the shoot borer. Okay. The seed produced using genetic engineering are called the genetically modified seeds. Okay. So here the seed production is also there, and the seed produced using this genetic engineering is called as the genetically modified seeds. They are also commercially marketed, or the genetically modified seeds are also commercially marketed. Okay. What is Dhara mustard hybrid 11? Dhara mustard hybrid 11 is a genetically modified hybrid variety of the mustard species, the Brassica gentiana. Okay. So DM11 is a genetically modified variant of the herbicide tolerant mustard. Okay, it is herbicide tolerant. It was developed using the genetic male sterile technique, especially by the Barnstee system, to make it herbicide resistant. So this is herbicide resistance. Legal position of the genetically modified crops in India. In India, the Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, GESC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, is the apex body that allow for commercial release of the GM crop for cultivation. In 2002, the GESC has allowed the commercial release of the BT cotton. So, the BT cotton cultivation in India is allowed by the Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. Okay, that's the Government of India level. Use of the unapproved GM variants can attract a jail term of 5 years and fine of 1 lakh under the Environmental Protection Act 1989. The Environmental Protection Act 1989 puts a ban on the violation of the rules. Ban on commercial GM crop will be against national interest. Earlier in 2017, the GESC, Genetic Engineering Approval Council, has cleared the proposal for commercial cultivation of GM mustard. However, the Indian Ministry of Environment vetoed it and suggested that the panel hold more studies on the GM crop and its impact on health. Okay, so that is why its use has been delayed till date. In October 2022, the Genetic Engineering Approval Committee again cleared the proposal for commercial cultivation GM mustard, also known as the DMH11. Later, the petitioner, the Gene Campaign, and activist Aruna Rodriguez challenged the government move to commercially release the DMH11. So it has again raised the issue. New summary: ban on commercial GM crop will be against the national interest. The government told the Supreme Court that India already brings in and uses oil made of the GM crops. So what the government said, that we in India are already importing the edible oil or the mustard oil, which are produced by using the genetically modified technology. The imported mustard oil to India are also genetically produced mustards from genetically produced mustard. So it stands that opposition to this technology based on the groundless fears of negative effect harms farmers, consumers, and the industry. Okay. So it stated that the opposition to this technology based on the groundless fear of negative effect harms farmers, consumers, and the judiciary. Stand of the government in the Supreme Court: production increase, so has consumption. So so what is the government stand? So Okay, the total of two. Okay, so the average for so the total 272.2 lakh hectare was under the cultivation of oilseed in 2010-11. This increased to 302.3 lakh hectares in 22-23. The average per capita oil consumption has also risen from 2.9 kg per year in 1950-60 to 19.5 kg per year in 2022. This shows the use of technology or better variety of seeds that has resulted in okay. So increasing demand for edible oil in 2021 13.45 million tons of the total edible. Okay, so this so in 2021 13.45 million tons of total edible oil demand was made through import worth 1 lakh 15,000 crore. This is the amount of edible oil import from India. Okay, this include palm oil 57%, soybean oil 22%, sunflower oil 15%, and small quantity of canola quality mustard oil. In 22-23, 15.533 million tons of the total edible oil demand was made through through import. So around you see 55% of the okay. So that means so not only we are importing the petroleum oil, we are also importing huge quantity of the edible oil. That is our requirement. And as you know that in India, okay, so this is what okay. So this is what so we are not only importing the petroleum oil but also we are importing edible oil because with India the demand for edible oil is increasing. So So the average per capita oil consumption has increased from 2.9 kg per year in 1956 to 19.5 kg per year in 2022. See, this is the per capita oil consumption, which was only less than 3 kg per year, has increased to around 19.5 kg. That means a near sevenfold increase in the consumption of oil. Okay, so increasing demand for edible oil in 2021, 13.45 million tons of the total edible oil demand was made through import. That means 54%, worth 1 lakh 15,000 crore. This includes palm oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, small quantity of canola, quantity mustard oils. Okay, we meet 50% of our oil demand through imports. Critical of the food security in India, mustard is the most important edible oil. Okay, mustard is the most important edible oil and seed meal crop in India. Strengthening, strengthening of the plant breeding programs, including use of genetic technology such as the GE technology, is critical for meeting emerging challenges in the Indian agriculture. This is also vital for ensuring food security while reducing foreign dependency. India is already importing and consuming a large quantity of edible oil from the GM oil seed, because all the imported oil that is coming to India are also from the GM crop. Similarly, near 2.8 lakh tons of soybean oil is being imported annually, largely coming from the GM soybean oil produced in foreign countries. Most exporting countries such as Argentina, USA, Brazil and Canada cultivate GM soybean and they're exporting it to India. Economic loss for the crop due to weeds. The government said India annual economic loss of crop due to weed is 11 billion. That means 1 lakh crore. It also highlighted that annual value of herbicide currently used in India is 4,500 crore even without herbicide tolerant crops. Herbicide tolerant crop provides effective weed control and it will be detrimental to ban development of the herbicide tolerant crops for Indian agriculture, as labor is expensive and not available. The Dhara 11 hybrid has shown increasing per hectare yield by 20 to 30% over the traditional variety. It further added that mustard is one of the highest oil bearing of the oilseed in India. Hence, domestic production of edible oil will rise considerably if this is allowed in India. Okay. It further added that mustard is one of the highest oil bearing oilseed in India. Then the next is the Serious Fraud Investigating Agency, SFIO. The Supreme Court, while dismissing a petition for quashing a complaint filed by the Serious Fraud Investigating Office, has left a crucial question of law open, whether SIFO are police officers under the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. Whether these officers belong to the Serious Fraud Investigating Agency will be treated as police officers. So what is it is? What it is? It is a corporate fraud investigating agency set up by the government of India. So SIFO is a corporate fraud investigating agency which was set up by the government of India. It was established in 2015 July and operates under the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Normally, the law and order of the police were under the control of the Home Ministry, but here it is under the control of the Corporate Affairs Ministry. Okay. So, section 211 of the Company Act 2013 accorded a statutory status to the SFIO. It got the statutory status by the provision of that Company Act section 211. The objective, So the core of the SFO is to ban to be an investigating and law enforcement agency to detect and prosecute or recommend to prosecute white collar fraudster or crimes. Fine. So this is its prime objective. So core is to be an investigative and law enforcement agency, detect and prosecute or recommend to prosecute white collar frauds and crimes. Type of investigation, the SIFO usually. Okay, upon assignment of a case. Okay, types of investigation. The SIFO will usually take up the following types of cases sent by the central government: complex cases needing investigation across multiple disciplines of interdepartmental affairs, cases with a huge monetary impact on the public, cases where investigation can lead to the clearing of systems and implementation of the changes in the law and the procedures, serious fraud cases sent by the Department of Company Affairs. SIFO can also take up cases on its own only when decided by the director of the SIFO and also given the reasons for taking up the case in writing. Upon assignment of a case to the SIFO, no other investigating agency can proceed with an investigation of any offence under the Act, because when it takes over the case, so all inquiry by other agency come to a grinding halt. The central government can ask the SIFO to investigate a company in the following cases: when it receives a report from the Register of Inspector under Section 208 of the Company Act 2013. Okay, when the company itself passes a special resolution and request investigation, when there is a huge monetary impact on the public or for all large-scale public interest cases, when a central government or state government department makes a request for an investigation. Organizational structure: it consists of experts in the field of accountancy, forensic auditing, law, information technology, investigation, company law, capital markets, and taxation. SIFO is headed by a director. As head of department is the rank of Joint Secretary to the Government of India. The director is assisted by additional directors, joint directors, deputy directors, senior assistant directors, prosecutor, and other secretarial staff. Headquarters is in New Delhi with 5 regional offices in Mumbai, New Delhi, Chennai, Hyderabad, and Kolkata. Okay. Serious fraud, not normal frauds, but serious fraud involving huge amount of money. So then the Biribhadra temple. The Prime Minister performed darshan and puja at the Biribhadra temple in Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Recently, the Prime Minister visited and offered a puja in the Biribhadra temple in Andhra Pradesh. It is also known as the Lepakhi temple. The literal meaning of the word is lepa plus askhi, an embelled eye of a painted eye. It is dedicated to Birabhadra, the fair incarnation of Lord Shiva. According to Hindu mythology, Daksha insulted his daughter Sati and her husband Shiva at a grand sacrifice. That grand sacrifice he had organized. Unable to bear the humiliation, Sati immolated herself to avenge her from the wrathful Birabhadra. Notable features: it has shrines dedicated to Shiva, Vishnu, then Papanatheswara, Raghunatha, Rama, and other deities. They exhibit the interchange of human value and socio-cultural tradition from 11th century, the Chalukyan period, to the 15th century, early Vijayanagara period. Then the Indian tectonic plates, question on geography. Okay, this is regarding the Indian tectonic plates. Okay, so researchers recently unveiled new seismic data indicating that Indian tectonic plate is splitting in two beneath the Tibetan plateau. So, it is splitting. About the Indian tectonic plate, it is a minor tectonic plate located in the northeast hemisphere. It is bounded by four major tectonic plates. North of the Indian plate is the Eurasian plate. To the southeast is the Australian plate. To the southwest is the African plate, and to the west is the Arabian plate. Other Indian plate is moving northward relative to the Eurasian plate and collides with it. A convergent boundary is created. On the opposite side, the Afro-Asian boundary is divergent. Convergent means when they go divergent. Convergent means when they come close. Divergent when they go away from each other. Convergent boundary and divergent boundary. The Western Indo-Arabian boundary. Okay, the Western Indo-Arabian boundary. Okay, each lateral are relative to each other, giving rise to transform boundary. It was previously thought that the Indian and Australian plates form one single plate, and there is no clear type of boundary, but recent seismologist evidence suggest that the two plates will have a transform boundary, and the drift velocities of these two plates are different, even if the general direction of motion of the two plates is similar. The collision of the Indian plate with the Eurasian plate about 50 million years ago resulted in the erection of the Himalayan mountains. The Indian plate is still active today and drifts at a velocity of about 5 cm per year. Earthquakes occur in the north parts of the plate. Because the low-grade metamorphism that resulted in the collision of the Indian plate with the Eurasian plate, many micaceous minerals are mined in the northern part of the country. In fact, India is the largest producer of mica blocks and splittings. Then the Tomahawk missile. Japan recently signed a deal with its ally, the USA, to buy 400 long-range Tomahawk missiles. It is a US-made long-range cruise missile used for deep land attack warfare. It can be launched from a ship or submarine and deliver its warhead precisely to a target at a long range. It flies at low altitudes to strike fixed targets such as communication and air defense sites in the high-risk environments where manned aircraft may be vulnerable to suffer an air missile. It is designed to fly at subsonic speed while maintaining a low altitude, making it difficult to detect on radar. It uses Taylor guidance system to maneuver at such low elevations. Fine. It has an accuracy of about 5 meters. The 6 meter 18.4 feet long missile has a range of up to 2400 kilometers or 1500 miles and can travel as fast as 885 kilometers per hour. The Tomahawk are launched vertically from ship, but they can be launched horizontally from torpedo tubes on attack submarines or from external launchers attached to a submarine hull. Propulsion, it is powered by a solid propellant during its launch phase. Therefore, it is powered by a turbofan engine that does not emit much heat, which makes infrared detection difficult. It uses satellite assisted navigation system that track terrain matching radar to guide it to a target. It is capable of twisting and turning like a radar avoiding fighter plane, skimming and landscape at an altitude of only 30 to 90 meters, so 100 to 300 feet. It can carry either conventional or nuclear payloads or warheads. So this missile is capable to carry both conventional as well as nuclear warheads. So in case it is carrying conventional warhead, the destruction capacity will be less, but in case it carry the nuclear warhead, so this devastating capacity will be much more for this particular type of missile. And Japan has signed the agreement to purchase this missile from USA. Then the Cadiz flies. Researcher at the Baba Ghulam Shah Basa University recently discovered a noble species of the Cadiz fly named the Rhinophila masudi espinov in Jammu and Kashmir. These Cadiz fly are moth-like insects. Caddis flies are moth-like insects that are attached to light at night and live near the lake or rivers. Distribution: they are found worldwide, usually in the freshwater habitats, but sometimes in the brackish and the tidal waters. Adult cuddleflies are commonly 3 to 15 millimeters in length. Like all insects, cuddleflies have 6 legs, 2 antennae, and 3 body parts. Generally dull brownish adult cuttlefish flies resembles moth with hairy wings and long antenna, but cattleflies do not have the long spinning mouth part that butterflies and moth have. Cattleflies hold their wings tent like over their bodies when they are not flying. Like stoneflies, mayflies, and the dobson flies, immature cattleflies are aquatic, living in the stream and lakes. Cattlefly larvae look similar to the larvae of the mayflies, aquatic beetles, and other aquatic insects, but can usually be distinguished by the presence of a case. Most cattleflies larvae construct and live in a protective case made of the small pebbles, twigs, and other debris. The larvae build these cases using silk produced from the glands of their moths. They feed primarily on plant juice and flower nectars, though a few are predaceous. Cattleflies are a vital component of aquatic ecosystem. The insect play a crucial role in the food chain. Not only do they serve as a primary food source for the various fish species, they also contribute to water purification by filtering algae and other potentially problematic organisms. Then coming to the question, green hydrogen mission holds significant potential in addressing both energy security concern and advancing the global fight against climate change. So green hydrogen, also referred to as clean hydrogen, is produced by using electricity from renewable energy sources such as solar or wind power to split water into two hydrogen atoms and one oxygen atom through a process called the electrolysis. The Union government recently notified the green hydrogen and green ammonia policy aimed at boosting the domestic production of green hydrogen to 5 million tons by 2030 and making India an export hub for the clean fuel. Green hydrogen is an emerging option that will help reduce India's vulnerability to such price shock. The cabinet has cleared India's 20,000 crore national green hydrogen mission, okay, to make the country a global green hydrogen hub. Okay, so advantage of green hydrogen: it is a clean burning molecule which can decarbonize a range of sectors including iron and steel. Okay, uh, steel, chemicals, and transportation. Renewable energy that cannot be stored or used by the grid can be channeled through the produced hydrogen. So India is being tropical. So it is clean burning molecule which can decarbonize the range of sectors including the steel, iron, steel, chemical, and the transportation. Renewable energy that can be stored or used by the grid can be channelized to produce hydrogen. Okay. India being a tropical country has a significant edge in green hydrogen production due to its favorable geographical conditions and abundant natural resources. Producing hydrogen from renewables in India is likely to be cheaper than producing it from natural gas. Okay. So, significant green hydrogen in tracking energy challenges. Green hydrogen energy is vital for India to meet its nationally determined contribution targets and ensure regional and national energy security, access, and availability. This is the advantage of green hydrogen. Green hydrogen can act as an energy storage option. Okay. In terms of mobility, for long distance mobilization for either urban freight movement within city and states or for passengers, green hydrogen can be used in railways, large ship, bus and trucks. India is the world's fourth largest energy consuming country behind China, US and European Union according to IEA forecast. Okay. And will overtake the European Union to become the world's third energy consumer by 2030. Okay, so India is the world's fourth largest and going to be the third one. Realizing the impending threats to economy, the summit will see several innovative proposals from all over the world in order to reduce dependence on use of fossil fuel. Because in the last COP28, there is also a discussion to check the reduce or even to eliminate the use of the fossil fuel. Okay, which India disagreed. The scale of interest for plucking the low-hanging fruit can be gauged from the fact that even oil-producing nations such as Saudi Arabia, where the day temperature soars to 50 degrees centigrade in summer, is prioritizing plan to manufacture this source of energy by utilizing idle land banks for solar and wind energy generation. It is working. Okay. It is working to establish a mega 5 billion green hydrogen manufacturing unit covering in land size as large as that of Belgium in the northern western part of the country. India is also gradually unveiling its plan. The Indian Railway has announced the country's first experiment of a hydrogen fuel cell technology based train by retrofitting the existing diesel engine, which will run under the Northern Railway on the 89-kilometer stretch between Sonepat and Jind. The project will not only ensure diesel saving to the tune of several lakh annually, but will also prevent the emission of 0.72 kilotons of particulate matter and 11.12 kilotons of carbon per annum. But the challenge is the production cost of green hydrogen has been considered to be a prime obstacle. According to studies by the International Renewable Energy Agency, the production cost of this green source of energy is expected to be around $1.5 per kilogram for nations having perpetual sunshine and vast unused lands by the year 2030 by adopting various conservative measures. Okay, so the global population is growing at a rate of 1.1%, adding about 83 million human heads every year on the planet. As a result, the International Energy Agency forecast the additional power demand to be the tune of 25 to 30% by the year 2040 to increase by 25 to 30%. Thus, the power generation by net zero. This will also be a leap forward in minimizing our dependence on conventional fossil fuel. In 2018, 8.7 million people died prematurely as a result of the air pollution from fossil fuels. Okay, there is growing interest and hype for using hydrogen in multiple applications such as hydrogen-based agro vehicles, hydrogen power passenger trains, hydrogen in aviation, etc. Way forward, as India is scaling up to the target of having 450 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030, aligning hydrogen production needs with broader electricity demand in the economy would be critical. The industrial sector, okay, like steel, refining, fertilizer, and methanol sector are attractive for green hydrogen adoption, as hydrogen is already being generated and consumed either as a chemical feedstock or a process input. The public funding will have to lead the way in the development of green hydrogen, but the private sector has significant gains to be made by securing its energy future. India requires a manufacturing strategy that has leverage. Okay. India requires a manufacturing strategy that can leverage the existing strength and mitigate threats by integrating with the global value chain. The green hydrogen has been anointed as the flag bearer of the India's low carbon transition, as hydrogen may be lighter than air, but it takes some heavy lifting to get the ecosystem in place. Enforcing time-bound mid and long-term policy could inspire the private sector to invest more in the green hydrogen. India should aim to produce 4.6 million tons of green hydrogen. Okay, should aim to produce 4 to 6 million tons of green hydrogen per annum by the end of the decades and export at least 2 million. Then come to the question. Okay, with reference to the Indian-Iran relation, consider the following state. India. Okay, bilateral ties deteriorated after India stopped Iran oil imports following US existing an Iran nuclear deal and imposing sanctions against Iran. India's relationship with Iran is strategically important. Okay, strategically important for securing its interest of accessing the Leviathan gas field in Israel. Shanghai Cooperation Organization has both India and Iran as members, contributing to their diplomatic ties here. 1 and 3, because Iran recently became a member of the SCO. 2 is incorrect. The Panjgur region has been recently located in Pakistan. Plus the following statement, India has registered a significant decline in multidimensional poverty in recent years. That's right. The National Multidimensional Poverty Index covers a greater number of indicators than the Global Multidimensional Poverty Index. So this is prepared by the Niti Aayog of India. So here 1 and 2 are correct. Hague Apostille Convention 1961 is related to simplifying the global circulation of public documents. So D. As for the following statement, National Framework of Climate Service, Panchayata Mausam Seva Portal, Agro Meteorological Advisory Services. Which of the above services have been launched by the Indian Meteorological Department, IMD? IMD launch all the three. Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, sometimes in news, initiated by the European Union. Okay. Any company not using that clean green carbon initiative will be taxed more in case it is exporting the products to European Union. This is the limitation on this carbon border management system. Okay, so carbon, okay, then 7, consider the following statement with reference to the Global Good Alliance for Gender Equity and Equality. It was launched on the sideline of the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. Okay, that's right. It was launched with the support and endorsement of the World Economic Forum and the Government of India. Here both 1 and 2 are correct. Consider the following statement regarding the attention deficiency hyperactive disorder, ADHD. ADHD is the neurodevelopmental disorder of the childhood diagnosed at an early age. A child with Children with ADHD might have trouble paying attention or controlling impulsive behavior. ADHD does not last into adulthood. Here 1 and 2 are correct, 3 is incorrect. The cervical cancer is both preventable and curable if detected early. Cervical cancer is usually caused by the inherited genetic mutation. Wrong. The best way to prevent cervical cancer is through surgery or to remove the cervix. So here only 1 is correct. 1. Kutch is the only place in the world where fresh dates without the need of ripen or soften are economically grown, traded and consumed. Currently, only one fruit from the Gujarat has received the geographical indication tag. Here only 1 is correct, but 2 is incorrect.